Have you ever wondered why, sometimes, the very people you pour your care and energy into the most become the ones who leave you feeling hurt and emotionally drained? We often hold on to the belief that kindness, patience, and sincere generosity are keys to building meaningful relationships. Yet, in certain quiet, unnoticed ways, this same kindness can unintentionally become a doorway through which others step into our inner world, subtly manipulating our boundaries, exploiting our compassion, and leaving us quietly depleted. The deepest wounds rarely come from overt hostility. Rather, they seep in gently through relationships disguised by familiarity, intimacy, and trust, connections we never imagined could cause us harm. Is it possible then that your genuine kindness and endurance have inadvertently turned into tools used by others to control and dictate your emotional well-being? Carl Jung famously introduced the idea that within each of us resides a shadow, a hidden reservoir of suppressed fears, insecurities, and unresolved pains that we often hesitate to acknowledge. But what happens when those around you unintentionally reflect this hidden shadow back to you, forcing you to confront parts of yourself you've long avoided? Perhaps deep within, you've always quietly longed for a moment to finally release the tension, to gently let down your guard and allow your most honest feelings to find their way to the surface. And maybe, just maybe, that moment is closer than you think. We often overlook how deeply the people we surround ourselves with can shape the way we see ourselves, feel about ourselves, and ultimately live our lives. But to clearly understand the impact, you first need to see exactly who these people are, the subtle, often unnoticed forces that quietly drain your inner strength and happiness. First, there's the eternal victim, the one who always finds a way to play the role of victim in every scenario. They seem fragile, constantly needing your help, sympathy, and validation. But beneath this delicate exterior is a powerful force that slowly shifts responsibility onto you. You feel obligated to solve their problems, ease their pain, or rescue them from trouble, unaware that this is exactly how they hold power over your emotions and decisions. Like quicksand, the more you struggle to lift them out, the deeper you sink into their control. Then you meet the criticizer, the person who subtly but relentlessly undermines your confidence. Their words seem casual, perhaps disguised as jokes or gentle teasing, yet each one carries sharpness designed to chip away at your self-worth. They leave you doubting your abilities, second-guessing your dreams, and questioning your inherent value. Slowly, you start internalizing their critical voice until it becomes the way you talk to yourself, unaware of the quiet damage that's been done. Next comes the manipulator, the smooth talker who wears the mask of friendship and sincerity. At first, they seem supportive, compassionate, and understanding. Yet behind their comforting words lies hidden calculation. They carefully leverage your kindness, guilt, and loyalty, subtly guiding your choices and behaviors to serve their own needs. You may find yourself agreeing to decisions you never truly wanted, convinced it was your idea in the first place. They have quietly rewritten the script of your life, leaving you unaware until you've already drifted far away from who you genuinely want to be. The energy vampire appears differently, not always negative, not always critical, yet somehow consistently exhausting. Every interaction leaves you feeling drained, depleted, and mysteriously unsettled. They unconsciously feed on your emotional energy, leaving you empty, tired, and unable to recharge. You might not immediately recognize the source, but your body and mind always reveal the truth through persistent fatigue, emotional numbness, or a lingering sense of heaviness. Then there's the chronic complainer, the person who never fails to point out everything wrong with life, themselves, and everyone else around them. At first, you listen with empathy, hoping your attention and patience can lift their spirits. Yet, soon enough, their pessimism becomes contagious. Like rain seeping into a cracked roof, negativity quietly infiltrates your perception, clouding your once clear and optimistic view of the world. Their constant dissatisfaction becomes your burden, pulling you further away from joy and gratitude. And finally, you encounter the narcissist, the one whose entire world revolves exclusively around themselves. They demand attention, validation, and loyalty, always putting their own needs above yours. You might feel special at first, charmed by their charisma and confidence, but soon you realize your own feelings, dreams, and opinions don't truly matter to them. They see you not as a person, but as a reflection of their own desires, and slowly you start feeling invisible, insignificant, and unworthy in their shadow. When these toxic connections linger unnoticed and unresolved, their damage becomes profoundly deep and subtle. Gradually, you find your self-confidence eroding. Doubts creep into your decisions, anxieties infiltrate your daily routines, and a persistent sense of inadequacy becomes your default setting. You may start wondering if you're somehow unworthy or broken, continually second-guessing yourself and losing trust in your instincts. Have you noticed that the more you try to maintain these harmful relationships, the harder it becomes to hold on to genuine self-love and self-respect? The consequences aren't abstract. They seep directly into your everyday life. At work, you find yourself constantly anxious, distracted, and overwhelmed, unable to fully engage or focus because your mind is occupied with emotional exhaustion. Your productivity decreases and your passion fades quietly, replaced by lingering worry and burnout. In your personal relationships, the shadow cast by toxic individuals leads you to question your worth and value in the eyes of others. You begin to unconsciously assume everyone perceives you the same way, as inadequate, undeserving, or weak. Building healthy relationships becomes nearly impossible because you doubt your own value. You become trapped in a cycle of self-sabotage and emotional isolation, preventing meaningful connections from ever truly taking root. Your mental and emotional health also suffers silently. The subtle erosion of confidence and constant emotional drain gradually push you into a state of persistent anxiety, depression, or numbness. You become detached from your own emotions, lost in a fog of uncertainty and hopelessness, unsure of your direction or purpose. So ask yourself deeply and honestly, are you unknowingly trading your inner peace and emotional health just to satisfy people who never truly appreciate or respect you? Recognizing these patterns and their impact is crucial. Carl Jung described a powerful process called individuation, the journey of becoming who you authentically are, beyond the influence and expectations of others. Individuation isn't about changing the people around you, because ultimately you cannot control or alter them. Instead, it's about becoming aware enough, brave enough, and honest enough to carefully choose who deserves your energy, attention, and presence in your life. This insight can radically shift your understanding. Your growth, healing, and genuine happiness begin the moment you realize your emotional well-being is not something to be negotiated or sacrificed. Choosing yourself doesn't make you selfish. It makes you wise, compassionate, and self-respectful. It allows you to reclaim your true identity outside of manipulation, negativity, and emotional depletion. So let me gently ask you, what might happen if, just for today, you chose yourself fully rather than continuing to sacrifice who you are for the sake of others? What if today, instead of feeling responsible for other people's happiness, validation, or comfort, you decided simply to honor your own needs, boundaries, and worthiness? The choice might initially feel uncomfortable, perhaps even scary. Yet deep down, something within you already understands that this is the most compassionate and courageous choice you could possibly make, not only for yourself, but also for those who genuinely belong in your life. In the quiet moments, perhaps you've felt a painful truth whispering softly beneath the surface, something you've always known deep down, yet constantly tried to avoid. The most dangerous, toxic person isn't someone you can simply walk away from. It's not someone you can cut out of your life with a firm decision or a clear boundary. Instead, it's a subtle yet powerful presence inside you, an inner voice quietly convincing you that your worth depends entirely upon certain people. It's the quiet belief that without them, you're incomplete or unworthy of happiness. Have you ever considered that perhaps the deepest harm comes not from the toxic actions of others, but from the quiet permission you've unknowingly given them? You've allowed yourself to believe on some hidden level that their validation is essential, that their approval somehow defines you, and that your life would unravel without their presence. This unconscious dependency is far more damaging than anything external. It quietly binds you, shaping your self-worth and controlling your decisions, making you accept less than you truly deserve. Imagine for a moment standing in front of a clear mirror, one so transparent and vivid it reveals not just your surface reflection, but your deepest fears, insecurities, and hidden pain. Carl Jung called this inner world the shadow, a place within yourself where you store everything you've avoided, rejected, or feared to confront. Every toxic relationship you've ever experienced, every hurtful word you've quietly endured, every subtle manipulation you've accepted serves as a perfect reflection of this shadow within you. Consider the eternal victim who quietly manipulates your compassion, mirroring your own fear of setting firm boundaries. Think of the criticizer whose words chip away at your confidence, reflecting the inner critic you've never truly confronted within yourself. The manipulator subtly reflects your unspoken fear of fully taking control of your own life, while the energy vampire echoes your deep insecurity about asserting and protecting your personal energy. The chronic complainer, continuously focusing on what's wrong, mirrors your own quiet doubt about whether happiness and peace are truly possible for you. And finally, the narcissist, demanding constant admiration, is a stark reflection of the part of you that quietly believes your value is defined by someone else's approval. Each of these toxic individuals isn't just a harmful presence, they're quietly, profoundly reflective mirrors. Each interaction reveals something deeper within you. Wounds you've kept hidden, fears you've silently avoided, insecurities you've masked with a pleasant smile. The pain these individuals cause isn't solely their doing. It's a reflection of pain you've long carried within yourself, pain you've not yet fully faced, understood, or healed. Ask yourself now, honestly and courageously, have you been spending your energy fighting against external circumstances, desperately trying to change others, when in reality the deeper battle has always been within? Have you recognized yet that those external conflicts are merely reflections of inner turmoil begging for your attention, compassion, and healing? This realization can be deeply uncomfortable, perhaps even unsettling, because it asks you to shift your focus away from external blame and quietly look inward. It means acknowledging your role, not in causing others to mistreat you, but in allowing it, accepting it, and believing that you somehow deserve less. This isn't about self-blame. Instead, it's about gently understanding the subtle ways you've given your power away and finally reclaiming your strength, voice, and self-respect. Consider this metaphor. You've stood for so long in front of a distorted mirror, one that reflects only your flaws, inadequacies, and insecurities. You've allowed these distorted reflections to define you, silently believing them to be true. But what if now you could step away from that distorted mirror and find a clearer reflection, a mirror that shows you who you genuinely are, with all your beauty, strength, and imperfections? The shadow, as Jung described it, is not something to fear or run from, but rather something to acknowledge and integrate. By facing your shadow, by honestly examining the hidden pain and unspoken fears you've quietly stored within yourself, you finally begin the powerful process of healing and transformation. You realize that the toxic people in your life have unknowingly given you a profound gift, the opportunity to clearly see and courageously heal the wounds you've long avoided. So let me gently ask you, if every painful experience outside of you is merely a reflection of something deeper within, Do you have the courage today to turn inward, to face yourself honestly, compassionately, and bravely? Are you ready to stop chasing external solutions, to stop seeking validation from those who quietly harm you, and instead begin the quiet, powerful journey towards self-awareness and healing? This is your moment of awakening. The moment you recognize that your emotional freedom doesn't lie in changing others, but in changing your relationship with yourself. Your true strength isn't found in pleasing or fixing people around you, but in your courageous willingness to finally acknowledge, accept, and heal your own inner pain. Imagine now taking that first gentle step inward toward the parts of yourself you've quietly feared and avoided. Imagine meeting your hidden pain not with resistance, but with kindness and understanding. Imagine embracing your shadow not as something threatening, but as something deeply human and profoundly transformative. In this moment of courageous honesty, you realize a quiet yet powerful truth. No one outside can define your worth, control your happiness, or determine your inner peace without your permission. This realization offers profound relief, an inner peace you've quietly longed for. Because when you fully accept and heal the wounds within, you no longer feel the need to hold on to toxic relationships. You no longer cling to harmful connections out of fear or dependency. Instead, you gently release them, finally understanding that your worth, your happiness, your peace has always been yours to reclaim. Today, right now, you hold a quiet yet powerful choice in your hands. Will you continue looking outward for validation, hoping others will fill a void only you can heal? Or will you turn inward, bravely confront your shadow, and finally begin the beautiful, courageous journey toward genuine self-awareness, healing, and lasting emotional freedom? Because when you finally turn inward, you find something quietly extraordinary. Everything you've ever sought outside yourself, approval, acceptance, love, has quietly been waiting within you all along. In life, people will come and go, drifting in and out of your world like seasons or passing storms, often beyond your control. Yet, quietly beneath this truth lies something profound. You alone hold the gentle, unspoken power to decide who gets to remain, who you nurture, and who earns a lasting place in your story. Imagine your life as a garden, delicate yet resilient, flourishing only when you consciously decide which relationships to nourish and which to release. Every unwanted weed you gently uproot makes space for something healthier, more vibrant, more genuinely you. Consider for a moment, what burden have you quietly carried too long, convinced it was yours to bear? What relationship or belief have you held close, out of habit rather than happiness, obligation rather than choice? Perhaps the peace you seek isn't found in gaining more, but in gently letting go of something you've quietly known, deep down no longer belongs in your life. If a feeling of quiet relief or clarity has found you through this conversation, you're warmly invited to share, even in just a word or two, something you're finally ready to release. Your honest acknowledgement might quietly inspire someone else to recognize their own path toward letting go. And if this exploration of inner truths has sparked something gentle yet powerful within, you are invited to continue onward. There's much more to uncover, explore, and heal. More quiet insights awaiting you as you journey deeper into the beautiful complexity of who you truly are.